let's see how from Melbourne, right? Because Melbourne is also in the south, so
Yep,
that's why it's not that far, right?
correct. So to the
You
top of,
see?
I think the ferry from Melbourne to the top of Tasmania, it's about 8 hours, I think.
Okay. Hello, guys. Hello, Nathan. Welcome to our English Brazil International. I would like to start with a question. When I was a child, first thing when I heard first thing in about Tasmania was this one here. Let me share with you.
I know what you're going to bring up.
Uh, and then I never. The only thing that I was a big fan of this guy here. Let me share with you. Even I have a. Uh, one of them like plastic water. I like this
That
one here.
was my question. That was
Yes.
my question.
Because they are so cute.
Yeah. Uh, have you ever faced this? I would say terrible, but a cute animal. Let me show you guys the real image of the Tasmanian devil.
Unfortunately, the real thing is not quite as cute as the cat.
Yeah, this he is he like as angry as uh looks like this
Look,
he's angry. Have you ever faced one of these creatures and people like
yeah,
raise this kind of animal like a pet?
no, definitely not as a pet. Um, I have seen them out in the wild. They're pretty scared of humans. They won't go up to humans, but yeah, they just make this horrible, weird noise at night. Like if you go camping at night, you can quite often hear them. Yeah, they make a pretty horrendous noise, but I've never heard of one attacking a human. They do have really strong jaws. They'll eat pretty much anything, bones and anything. I have no idea how Warner Brothers came up with that cartoon. The funny story, I think I spoke last time. We have our own football. It's called Australian Rules Football. It's a bit of a cross between American football, rugby, bunch of sports, but it's very unique. And Tasmania has never had a team in the national competition. Last year, they just announced they're going to have a team in a couple of years' time, and they're going to be called the Tasmanian Devils. Now, Warner Brothers had the trademark on Tasmanian Devils for all, merchandise and everything. So Tasmania had to come to a deal with Warner Brothers to be able to use the name Tasmanian Devils, even though you can only find these Tasmanian Devils in Tasmania. They had to come up with a deal with Warner Brothers and I think pay a lot of money to be able to use the name for the football team, which is crazy.
Let's share the sound of this animal.
Oh,
Terrible, man. No wonder the name devil.
So you can imagine if you're out camping at night and you hear those sounds, it's not the most pleasant thing to hear.
And what is it like living in Tasmania compared to another cities in Australia?
I mean, it's obviously much smaller, so it's a very sort of slow pace of life. Everybody seems to be a lot more friendly down there. The big cities like Melbourne, Sydney, everyone's always in a rush and you don't have that, I guess, small town vibe where, sort of everybody grows up together and knows everybody. And I mean, it's not that small. There's a couple of 100,000 people in the capital in Hobart,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's just, I guess, a bit slower. Um, yeah, not a nice place to grow up.
What
There
is
wasn't much crime down there. It wasn't very multicultural growing up down there.
what is the name of
Uh,
the city that you live in Tasmania?
Hobart. It's Hobart has the oldest bridge in Australia. It has the oldest brewery in Australia. Has the first casino in Australia.
A lot of old buildings.
Yep. It was an old convict settlement. That's the brewery. It was an old convict settlement. That little tower down the bottom there, that's the casino. That's where I worked for 4 years. Um, yeah, it was a convict settlement. So all
Mhm.
the prisoners from England came over and they set up a settlement about half an hour outside of Hobart. which unfortunately back in 1995 was the scene of Australia's worst ever massacre. Some crazy guy went crazy and killed, I think, about 35 people down at
Wow.
this settlement, which is now a big tourist attraction. Well, was a tourist attraction, it still is, but yeah, he killed a lot of people. And after that, Australia banned guns. They had this buyback scheme where they bought everybody's guns off them, and we've never had a massacre since, which I really think the USA could really take note of that you actually can control guns.
The whole Australia and Tasmania, I think England they use it as a place to take the prisoners, all the country.
That's the ship that goes down to Antarctica, because next stop is Antarctica. There's sort of a lot of bases, and a lot of the boats go from Hobart to go down to Antarctica.
Another important thing to point out, Talita, is here, Nathan, in Brazil, we are not obliged to blow the breathalyzer. Okay, if you don't blow the breathalyzer, they consider that you are drunk. They see you the way that you are talking and the way that you are, speaking. They can consider you a drunk even though you didn't blow the breathalyzer.
Yes, it's true. And if you cannot make a 4 with your legs, they consider you are drunk.
Cricket is very big here, which cricket, I don't know if you know, cricket I think it was invented in England. So sort of all the Commonwealth countries are very big on it, such as South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, India. Cricket's the biggest in India. It's like religion over there. They go crazy for it. So and Australia's probably the best in the world at cricket. So when there's a match between Australia and India, it's just massive. There's different forms of the game. One form goes for like 5 days. People call it the most boring thing they've ever seen in their lives, but people who love cricket, they love it. The other big sport, which is my favorite sport, which I'll be going to see my team in about 3 hours, Australian Rules Football. So that was actually invented in Melbourne, so it's massive here. It's now a national competition. Half the teams in the national competition are from Melbourne, and then there's a couple in each state around the country. But yeah, it's like nothing else in the world. It's totally unique to Australia. Nowhere else plays it. There's small, I guess, leagues around the world. I think there's a small league in the US. There's a small league in London.
Sorry, let me ask something. Why is the uniform like Brazil's uniform? The color, if the flag is blue and red and white.
That's our soccer team. Or what you call football, I guess. So yeah, I don't know. Green and gold. They're our national sporting colours. I know it's the same for Brazil, so I don't know why we've chosen that colour, to be honest. Yeah, I should look that up. I should know. I don't know why we're green and gold. Yeah, as you said, our flag's blue, red, and white. So it's a strange one. But do most of you love football? They had the Europa League. I don't know if you know it. In Europe, the final was the other night between two English teams, Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United. And the coach of the winning team, Tottenham Hotspur, is actually from Melbourne. So he's the first Australian to ever coach a team to win a European trophy, which was pretty big news here.
All right. Guys, thank you so much for being here. You have a lovely weekend. Nathan, thank you so much. You all have a good day.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend. See ya. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.